Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to use the Create in Bulk group in the Create tab of the Timesavers add-in. The Create in Bulk group allows you to quickly and easily bulk create worksheets that have the same design but swapping out different elements. So I'm going to use this as my basic template over here to create similar worksheets for the numbers 1 to 10 in this example. So what I'm going to start off by doing is on the first slide of my template. I can't do it on the second. It'll only work with slides from where the table that I'm going to insert is and onwards. It's not going to look at slides before where the table is. So I'm going to go on the first slide of my template. I'm going to add a table where I will be adding all of the data sets for the different things that I want to add to my worksheets. And then I'm just going to put in the names of or headings for the different data sets. You can choose whatever names you want to. I'm going to do number pick for, you can see over here, I'm going to have a picture where they're going to be tracing the formation of the number. Then I'll have the actual number. Then over here, I will have word, that'll be the number name as a word. Then I will have I just need to call it frame for the 10 frame. Then I will have shape, and I'm also going to insert another column where I will have trace, because I am going to have over here, you can see I wanted to put in a shape. I'm going to be swapping out the shape name over here with different names, and I'm also going to be putting in these tracing numbers. There are images as well. Okay, so once I've got that all set up over there, now I'm going to go and add the things to the columns. Okay, so to do that, I start off by, in this case, these are going to be pictures. So I'm going to go over here and click add to column. Now, if I had already inserted the pictures, or if they were in the form of shapes or something, then I can just select the things that I want to add and click on the add to the column. But if I haven't already inserted them, I can just click here and I'll be able to choose the column I want to add them to, and then I can go and choose the pictures and insert them. So in this case, I'm going to be using the number formation, and I'm only doing the numbers 1 to 10. So I'm going to go from 1 to 9 and insert them. It also asks me if I want to automatically insert their number or their picture names, the file names, as words in any of the columns. And yes, I do want to. I want to insert them in this column because they were just the numbers, they weren't the names. So I'm going to go and insert them like that, and they'll automatically be added next to the picture. Now I also want the number 10, which I haven't added because I didn't have the number 10 as a picture. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over here and choose the 0 and the 1 and insert them. And then I'm just going to turn that into a number 10 by putting them next to each other and grouping it. And now I can, with it selected, I can go and choose add to column, choose that same column again, and it will automatically be inserted underneath. Now it didn't ask me if I wanted to add the name because it's now a group, and as a group it doesn't have a name saved. So I'm going to go and put in that myself over there. So now I've got all of those pictures, and I've got the numbers as well. Some of them were pulled straight from the file names of some of those pictures. Then over here, I'm going to be typing in the words, the number names. And then over here, I'm going to go and add the 10 frames. So to add the 10 frames, I'm going to go again to add to column. I'm going to choose the column, which is this one, and then I will go over here and choose my 10 frames, and I'm not doing the 0, I'm just doing the 1 to 10, and they get inserted. Now this time I'm not going to choose to add the file name, so I just click no. Then I'm going to go and do the shapes. Okay, now for the shapes, you can see over here, where it says shapes, it's referring to the name of a shape over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use circles, squares, triangles, rectangles and ovals. And then I'm just going to repeat that over there. Now, with all of these over here, in the way that I want it, I don't want them to start with capital letters. So I'm going to go over here and change this to lowercase so that they're all lowercase. And for the number 1, I don't want it to say draw 1 circles. I want it to say draw 1 circle. So I'm just going to remove the S off there. Then I have one last set of things to add over here, and that's for the trace column. So the trace column is going to have pictures as well. So I'm going to go and add to the column in the trace column. Now, I want to point this out to you. When I choose add to the column like that, it'll only show me columns that are either empty or that contain pictures. I can choose one that contains pictures, and it'll then add them underneath what's already there in that column. It won't allow me to add pictures to columns that have text in, because you can't combine text and pictures in the same column. So I'm only able to choose columns that are empty or columns that already contain pictures. I'm going to be choosing this one over here, and I'm going to go and choose these pictures over there, 1 to 9, and then I don't want to add their names. And then I'm going to once again go and create a number 10 by inserting the 0 and the 1, and I will put them together and just make sure that they are aligned nicely, and then group it. And then once it's ready, I'm going to go and click add to column again and choose that same column, and then click OK, and it will automatically add it over there. Now I just want to make sure that that is clearly separate. Okay, so now that I've got all of my data added, I need to go and tell the add-in where to place that data. So now I'm going to go and add my placeholders. So over here I've got a 2, which is text. So I'm going to replace this, and you can see I've made the text box nice and wide, because some of the things are going to be wider than the 2, like the number 10 is going to be wider than the 2, and also the placeholder is going to be wider, so it just makes it easier for it to fit in and not to look confusing. So I'm going to go and replace that with a placeholder by clicking on the add placeholder, and because it's text, it only shows me the text options. So I'm going to click on the number over there, and it replaces it with a placeholder for numbers for this column over here. Then I'm going to add a placeholder for the frame over here, the 10 frame. So again, because it's an object, it only shows me the object options over here, which is the frame that I'm going to choose over there. And then the 2 over here, if I select it as text like I did that one, it'll show me only the text options. If I select it as a shape, it will show me all of the options, because it'll see that it has text, so it'll allow me to put in a text placeholder, but it'll also see that it's a shape, so it'll allow me to put in a shape placeholder if I want to as well. So in this case, I'm going to be choosing the word option over here, which is text. Okay, now we're going to go on to the next slide. On this slide, I'm going to add a placeholder for this one, which is going to be the number picture. This is the one where they're going to be doing the number formation. Then over here, I've got the number frame again. Over here, I've got the number word. Then over here, I've got multiple copies of the tracing one. So I'm just going to select all of them, click add, and go and choose that one over there, and they'll all be replaced in one go. Then over here, I've got in this text box a whole lot of text, and I'm going to just select the text that I want to replace. So I'm just going to select the 2, and I will add a placeholder for that, and I'll put in the number. And then over here, I'm going to select the circles and add a placeholder and put in the word, or sorry, the shape. Okay. Then one thing I need to do before I generate is I need to go and make all of these slightly wider, because some of the pictures are going to be wider than others. And like the 10 will be wider than the 2 that was there previously. So the placeholder that was put in the same size as the things that were already there. So they were put in the same size as the 2s. But when it's replaced with the 10, the 10 won't fit as nicely, so it'll get resized to fit into that space, and so it won't be as tall. So I'm just making them wider so they will all be the right height, because when the image placeholders get replaced with the images get sized to fit into those placeholders. Okay, so now that I've got that already, I can go and click on bulk create, and it will generate all of my worksheets. Now you can see I've got my worksheet for number 1 over there, and I've got all of the things that I chose, then for number 2, then for number 3, for number 4, number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so that's how you create a basic set of worksheets. Now, it is also possible to use more than one data item within your template where you're using more than one record from that data set using this next button. So let me just show you how to do that. So if I take the same basic template that I had over here, but I want to have 2 on one page. So I'm going to have 2 different numbers on the same page. What I can do is I'm just going to go and copy all of that data that I already put in over here. So I don't have to do it all over again, like this. I'm going to just copy that and paste it in here. If I hadn't already done it, I would just do it here, and it would just be for these things that are on this slide over here. Okay, so now I've got my data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and change this over here to the placeholders. I'm going to insert my placeholders. So over here, I'm going to click on add my placeholder. Actually, wait, let me select both of those because I can do them at the same time. Add placeholder, and then I'm going to choose the text option for the number. Okay. And let me just make those wider so that they don't do multi-lines like that. Then over here, I'm going to put in my placeholders for the frames, the 10 frames. And then over here, I'm going to put in my placeholders for the words, the number names. Okay, and once again, I'll just make those a bit wider. Okay, so now that I've done that, if I just click on bulk create with it like this, it will do this. So now you can see it's created a slide for each of the different numbers with 2 copies on each slide. But what I want to do is I want to have 1 and 2 on the same slide, then 3 and 4 on the next slide, and so on. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to take all of these over here, and I am going to set them. Let me just make sure that this is been selected there. Okay, and I'm going to go and click on this next record, and it will change all of those to the next record by putting in a -2 next to each of the column names or the data set names. So once again, I won't do anything to this one over here. I won't do anything to that over there, but I can make this wider if I want to so that it doesn't, so I can see more easily. So you can see over here it's word -2, then here I've got frame -2, and this is number -2. Okay, so I'm just going to keep that as it was before. And now that I've done that, you can also have more than 2 on one slide as well, and that's also fine. Now that I've done that, I'm going to go and click on the bulk create option again, and this time it has created 1 and 2 on the same slide, then 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10. And that's how you use the Create in Bulk group in the Create tab of the Time Savers add-in. I hope that has been helpful, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you. Goodbye.